I've said elsewhere how repellent I find the book of Revelation, the last book, so to speak, in the canon of the New Testament Christian Bible. I think it is cast in such an appalling way. For a combination of two reasons. In that it is to hide the truth from extant religion, namely to declare the true reality of life without being anathematized by religion for declaring it. Its truth lies in it being actually a description of the inner transformation of the soul from childhood to adulthood in the kingdom of heaven. And the message is transmitted and dressed in rags of the horrific that the religious might not suspect its true content. For it is ostensibly an extravaganza of the battle between good and evil played out on a cosmic scale, of the cosmos itself, the very cosmos itself, being the spiritual preoccupation of good and evil, the redemption of society transformed from violent discord into eternal glory, cleansed and born into everlasting goodness, a societal utopia. It's paralleled by the Genesis story of taking two beautiful people and clothing them with a thin skin and hair ripped from the carcasses of slain animals, supposedly done by God to hide their nakedness, their true heavenly glory. The gruesome tale of the book of Revelation conceals appallingly of some necessity for its safety the revelation of Revelation, which is our Heavenly Father's wonderful, fantastic creativity in bringing us from the ignorance of childhood, spiritually speaking, to the completeness referred to in the Jesus story of that I have called you friends. For I have told you all things concerning me and my Father, that you might have life eternal. For I am come that you might have life, and have it more abundantly. I have given them, Heavenly Father, your word. I have given them your name. I have finished the work that thou gavest me to do. And in the Jesus story, of course, he declares that God is his Father and they crucify him for it. For no religion on earth, no fallen earthly religion could possibly abide such a truth and survive itself. So in the story he's crucified, and quite right too, says the church, for the next 2,000 years. For how else could man's appalling degenerate state ever be forgiven by God, but by an equally appalling act of God in allowing his Son to be crucified? Woe unto you, scribes, Pharisees, hypocrites. Woe unto you. Dressed as it is, the book of Revelation is such appalling mayhem that no one should suspect that within it lies the true record of our Heavenly Father's glorious purpose and love to all life, that he is the Father of, our Dad. Almost no one could imagine that such graphic cosmic battle twixt good and evil be actually description of our loving Heavenly Father's care and nurturing of each of his children to glory in his family, the host of heaven. But rather assume it is the war of wars, ending in societal utopia, and the bitter destruction of all that would have stood against God's will accordingly. Dressed in the epitome of fallen means and purpose, the book of Revelation has so masqueraded its pageantry for 2,000 years. Leaving religion not even suspecting its true intent to preserve the eternal story, the true Jesus story, through every Christian crusade, every Inquisition, every Christian war and Holocaust of mankind. That eternal story of God's loving care from nothing to maturity in the heavenly host of all his children, each one. I do not know this is the case. I do know that this is what I choose to trust. the book of Revelation to be by our Heavenly Father's design, lest the Church should tear it from the canon and anathematize it for its true intent. And indeed, I think the survival of each of the books in what we call the Bible, both the Old and the New Testament, have been fashioned similarly to cloak the truth in favour of its preservation in a world where religiosity roams about to hunt down truth, lest it rescues its prey into life eternal. And this is itself in so keeping, lest my words be torn asunder. 2. Lord bless you and keep you. Cause his face, the very truth of his being, to shine within you now and forever, in the glory, the magnificence of his presence, always. Bless you. Thank you, Heavenly Father.